You're listening to the Daily Sales Tips podcast, and I'm your host, Scott Ingram. Today, Jeff Bajorek is back with another important tip. Here he is.
Stop spending other people's money, or perhaps better stated, stop worrying about how they spend it. There are a lot of salespeople out there who have heard that they're too expensive, and they've heard that they're too expensive so often that they proactively offer discounts. Like, yeah, I know this is going to be a bit much for you, or I know that this is probably overvalued. Stop. Are you listening to what you're saying? You're not standing in your own value. You're negotiating against yourself. Look, here's a little secret. You may have heard me say this before, but it's too expensive is a buying signal. It means there's emotion tied up in the purchase. It means that if the price were right, or if the value were created or explained, then they would purchase. But instead, it's easier to just knock the price off or knock a little off the price and cut your own legs out from underneath you. What are you doing? I want to shake you through the speakers right now. When you appreciate what you stand for, when you appreciate the value that your product or your solution brings to your prospect, you don't negotiate against yourself. You don't proactively worry about their budgets or their constraints or any of that. It's not your job to make it cheap enough for them to buy. It's your job to make it valuable enough to appreciate. I want you to think about that. So don't worry about other people's budgets. Listen, even when they don't have budget, they have money in many cases, or they probably wouldn't be kicking the tires on your solution to begin with. Think about what you're trying to sell. Think about what it's really worth, and leave it up to them to decide whether or not they can afford to pay for it. And here's the thing, at the end of the day, if they just decide that they understand everything that you are saying, they believe in the value that you have helped to create in their minds for your solution, but they just can't pay for it, they probably weren't going to be your customer anyway. Move on. Stop spending other people's money for them. Stop worrying about how they're going to spend it. Stop worrying about being too expensive and spend more time appreciating what it is that your solution does that none of the others do, and create value around that so you can feel good about commanding that price. It's worth it if you believe it is. And it's funny, when you don't believe it, neither does your prospect.
If you'd like more from Jeff, do yourself a favor and click over to DailySales.Tips/553. There we'll have links for you to connect with Jeff, jump on his mailing list, and even grab a free copy of his latest book, When It Goes Sideways. Once you've done that, be sure to come back tomorrow for another great sales tip. Thanks for listening.